it is a little more difficult for sure, I think, for these guys to stay motivated, to stay focused. And that's something that we've been trying to work on as a staff, just to make sure that these guys understand that what they do now is, it's going to show up at some point. We don't know when, but it's certainly going to show up, and you got to be ready when that opportunity does.
Tony, what have your conversations been like with Mackay? He redshirts last year and trains for the Olympic qualifier that ultimately doesn't happen. How has he handled all of that disappointment, I guess, and, continuing to have the opportunities that he does?
Yeah, I think, you can look at it one of two ways. Obviously, it was really disappointing that he didn't get the opportunity to wrestle in the Olympic team trials. Fortunately, that's going to get postponed. But taking the Olympic red shirt obviously was a blessing. He didn't lose the season like a lot of guys did, or lose an opportunity to wrestle the NCAA tournament, which we obviously no one had any idea it was going to play out like that. But it was certainly lucky for Mackay that he'll get to come back and he'll get 3 more shots at the NCAA tournament. Whereas if he would have been wrestling this year for us, he would have been in the same boat as Hunter Boland and Bryce Andoni and Joey Prada and the rest of our team that didn't get an opportunity to compete at the NCAA championship. So to a certain degree, I think that, there's probably a little bit of, sense of gratitude that kind of played out the way it did. And at least that Mackay wasn't in there. So, but no, he's doing good. Mackay's just trying to do what everybody else is doing, and that's just focusing on getting better every day. And we're going to have an opportunity to wrestle again, and he knows that. So when that opportunity presents itself, we got to be ready.
Tony, you know that I'm not much for holding my own on the mat or in the ring or wherever physical confrontation might be taking. But to me, it always seems like the greatest badge of pride you can have is being the top pound for pound wrestler or fighter in whatever sport that may be. Mackay Lewis named the number 3 pound for pound wrestler nationally. Is that something that you guys look at, and what makes him so special, number 1 at 165 also?
I'm not surprised about that. Mackay's obviously put himself in a position where there's a lot of eyeballs on him, and he's earned that. He's a junior world champ. He's a NCAA champion. But I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and I think a lot of people just see, he's obviously a tremendous athlete, and that was evident early on when we started recruiting him, and he arrived on campus and he was training with our guys, and then we go out and we like to do other sports. We'll go play football in the fall. We play basketball, and you get him out on the basketball court with a bunch of us wrestlers who aren't that athletic, or get him out playing football. His athleticism is pretty impressive compared to the rest of the guys. So athletically, he's great, but he also has tremendous work ethic, tremendous toughness, a tremendous competitive spirit. And those are the things that I think ultimately make him who he is, and his will and desire to win when he steps on the mat, his confidence in himself and his belief. He possesses a lot of qualities that allow you to be successful as a Division I wrestler.
Tony, you just glossed over it right there. Casual fans don't get to get into Castle Column to see this, but I have a couple of times. The Virginia Tech wrestling staff pickup basketball games. Break it down from a talent perspective in terms of what you got on the hardwood. So
here's my assessment of it. Okay, Steph Reyes, who's our equipment guy, he is basically like the Michael Jordan of our games. He's far and away the best player. And we can, as wrestlers, the first 2 or 3 games, we can stay with him just on hustle and desire and, working really hard. But by game 4 or 5, he's absolutely blowing by us and schooling everybody. But we've got some guys that have some decent and probably better game than you might think. I like to think that I'm one of those guys. Coach Brewer, our other assistant coach, is pretty good. Coach Freyer is, I would describe him as sneaky good. He doesn't really necessarily look the part when he's out there, but he can put up some nice shots. Jared Hott is probably kind of the Bill Lambier of our staff. Big, strong, physical. He's hard to guard in the post. And then our director of operations, Tucker Davidson, he's like Dirk Nowitzki out there. He's got long arms. He's hard to get rebounds over. So it makes for a fun afternoon when we get out on the court and play some hoops. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we enjoy it.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of taking some of those in when I've been setting up gear over there at Castle. That's great. But I mean, we joke a little bit about those guys, but the staff that you've assembled is just, it's almost a family, I would say. It seems like just an awesome group to be a part of.
Yeah, I think something that we pride ourselves in is trying to build a family atmosphere within our program, and that starts within our coaching staff. And I think that we all have great relationships. Our families do. We spend a lot of time together during the season, but we also spend a lot of time together on weekends and when we do have time off. So I think everybody truly enjoys being around each other, and I think it's beneficial when you have everybody truly invested. And I think when you treat people the right way and when you have that kind of atmosphere, guys are truly invested. And, we're fortunate that we have a couple of Hokies on staff with us, with Jared Hott, and then Ty Walls is still involved in our program. And then Tucker Davidson went to Virginia Tech. So it's always good to have guys that went to school here and understand what being a Hokie is all about. And, guys that bleed maroon and orange.
Tony, I've been here 5 years, and it's going to be odd next year to not see David McFadden around campus. It almost was like just the scene in Castle Coliseum when David was getting ready to come out and wrestle is something I haven't seen otherwise. What's that going to be like to move on without David?
I think it's going to be a transition. I mean, Dave is a great kid. He was a great teammate, very, very good leader for our guys. So not having him in the lineup and not having him around it's going to be different for sure. And I'm going to, on a personal level, I think I'm going to just miss seeing David. Like you said, he's just a happy guy. He always has a smile on his face. He's incredibly friendly. So he's the kind of guy that you want to see in the hallway. You want to, he lightens the mood. I think he brings everybody up with his personality. So we're going to miss that for sure. We love David, and I love David and what he did for our program. And he's always going to be a Hokie, and he's always welcome here. But we'll definitely miss him. But, that's kind of the way this gig goes. And you get guys. We're fortunate, as a college wrestling coach, you get to impact somebody's life for 4 or 5 years. And that's a long time. But when it does come to an end, sometimes it's, you miss those guys for sure. But those relationships last forever. And regardless whether he's here or where he's at, he'll always be a Hokie.